Have you ever received an email that seemed suspicious? Perhaps a message from a prince promising you untold riches? Or a note from a friend urgently asking for your help? These odd, unsettling moments are more than just strange occurrences. They're often the first taste of a deceptive practice known as phishing. This underhanded technique is used by cybercriminals to steal personal information, and it's becoming increasingly prevalent in our digital world. But what exactly is phishing and how can you protect yourself from it? Phishing is a form of cybercrime that can have serious consequences. It's like a digital version of a con artist, a crafty trickster lurking in the shadows of the internet, waiting to catch you off guard. But what exactly is phishing? Phishing is the act of tricking people into revealing sensitive information, such as passwords, credit card numbers, or social security numbers. This is typically done through deceptive emails, text messages, or websites that mimic legitimate organizations. The goal? To steal your information and exploit it for malicious purposes. Let's take a stroll down memory lane and revisit some of the most notorious phishing scams in history. Remember the infamous Nigerian prince scam? An email lands in your inbox from a supposed Nigerian prince. He's in trouble and needs your help transferring a large sum of money out of his country. In return for your assistance, he promises you a hefty cut of the money, but there's a catch. He needs your bank details to make the transfer. This, my friends, is a classic example of a phishing attempt. Then there's the IRS scam. You receive an email that appears to be from the Internal Revenue Service. It claims there's an issue with your tax return, and you need to click on a link to rectify the problem. The link takes you to a website that looks just like the real IRS site. It asks you to enter your social security number and other personal information. But guess what? It's another phishing attempt. These scams may sound obvious when we talk about them in hindsight, but in the heat of the moment, when you're not expecting them, they can be quite convincing. The cybercriminals behind these scams are crafty. They play on your emotions, fear, greed, sympathy, to trick you into giving up your valuable information. So it's clear that phishing can be pretty serious. But how can you spot a phishing attempt? Recognizing a phishing attempt can be tricky, but there are some telltale signs to look out for. Let's begin with the most glaring red flag: poor grammar and spelling. A legitimate email from a professional organization will be polished and free of errors. If you come across an email full of spelling mistakes, grammatical errors, and awkward phrasing, it's a strong indication that you're dealing with a phishing attempt. Next, pay close attention to email addresses. Phishers often use addresses that appear similar to legitimate ones, but upon closer inspection, you'll notice discrepancies. For instance, an email from the support@yourbank.com might be spoofed as support@yourbank.com or support.yourbank@phishing.com. So always double-check the sender's email address before clicking anything. Thirdly, look for requests for sensitive information. Legitimate organizations will never ask for your personal information via email. If you receive an email asking for your password, credit card number, or social security number, it's a clear sign of a phishing attempt. Another common sign is a sense of urgency. Phishers often create a scenario designed to panic you into action. For example, an email might claim your account has been compromised and you need to update your details immediately. Remember, legitimate organizations usually provide a more measured approach to security concerns. Lastly, be wary of unsolicited attachments. Phishers love to send emails with attachments that contain malware. If you weren't expecting an attachment or if it's from an unknown source, it's best to avoid opening it. Remember, phishing attempts may come in various forms such as emails, text messages, or even phone calls. These tips are not exhaustive, but they provide a good starting point for spotting phishing attempts. Now that you know how to spot a phishing attempt, let's talk about what you can do to protect yourself. There are several ways you can protect yourself from phishing attacks. Let's start with the basics. Always be skeptical of requests for personal information. Most organizations will never ask for your sensitive data via email. If you receive such an email, it's best to contact the organization directly via their official website or phone number, not through the contact details provided in the suspicious email. Next, never click on links or download attachments from unknown sources. Let's say you receive an email that appears to be from a friend, but the message is vague or out of character. For example, it's just a link with the text, "You have to see this." Instead of clicking on the link, reach out to your friend through another method to verify its legitimacy. Remember, keeping your software updated is essential. Cybercriminals often exploit security holes in outdated software. Installing updates as soon as they're available can help you stay one step ahead. And then there's two-factor authentication, often abbreviated as 2FA. This adds an extra layer of security to your online accounts. Even if a phisher gets your password, they won't be able to access your account without the second factor, which could be a text message code sent to your phone or a fingerprint scan. Also, consider using a password manager. These tools can help you create strong, unique passwords for all your accounts, reducing the risk of your accounts being compromised. And lastly, be careful with public Wi-Fi. Public networks are often less secure, making it easier for cybercriminals to intercept your data. If you have to use a public Wi-Fi, consider using a virtual private network, or VPN, to encrypt your data and protect your online activity from prying eyes. By following these steps, you can significantly reduce your risk of falling victim to a phishing scam. But no method is 100% foolproof. But what should you do if you've already clicked on a suspicious link or given away your information? If you suspect you've been phished, don't panic. There are steps you can take. Let's say you've clicked on a link in an email that seemed legitimate, but now you're having second thoughts. You've entered your personal information, and a sinking feeling sets in. You might be a victim of phishing. What do? Firstly, act quickly. Time is of the essence. If you've given out financial details, contact your bank or credit card company immediately. They can monitor your account for suspicious activity and may be able to reverse any fraudulent transactions. Take the case of Jane. She fell for a phishing scam that appeared to be from her bank. As soon as she realized her mistake, she contacted her bank, who were able to freeze her account, preventing any further damage. Next, change your passwords, starting with the service you believe was phished. If you use that same password elsewhere, change it there too. Remember, it's good practice to have unique passwords for each service you use. Consider using a password manager to help manage this. Then, report the phishing scam. Inform the company that was impersonated, they'll want to know. You can also report it to your local law enforcement and to the anti-phishing working group at reportphishing@apwg.org, which is a global coalition dedicated to wiping out internet scams and fraud. Lastly, educate yourself. Understand how you fell for the scam to prevent it from happening again. Was it a convincing email? A link that looked legitimate? By identifying the tactics used, you can better protect yourself in the future. Consider James's story. He was tricked into giving his email credentials via a phishing scam. After sorting things out, he took time to educate himself about phishing tactics. Now, he's more cautious about clicking links in emails, especially those asking for personal information. Remember, the best defense against phishing is awareness and vigilance. Stay alert, double-check sources, and when in doubt, don't click. It's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to your online security. Phishing can seem scary, but by being aware and taking the right precautions, you can protect yourself. Let's take a quick stroll down memory lane and revisit the key points we've covered. Phishing is a deceptive practice that cybercriminals employ to trick you into divulging sensitive information, such as your passwords, credit card details, or other personal data. They do this by pretending to be someone or something they're not. It could be a faux email from your bank, a bogus social media message, or a counterfeit website. But you're not helpless against these cyber sharks. Recognizing a phishing attempt is the first step to thwarting it. Look out for telltale signs like poor grammar, unusual urgency, or requests for personal information. And while awareness is the cornerstone of defense, it's not the only tool in your arsenal. You can also protect yourself by using secure and varied passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, and keeping your software updated. If you've been phished, don't panic. Report the phishing attempt, change your passwords, and monitor your accounts for any unusual activity. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about phishing, the better you can safeguard yourself against it. So, keep learning, stay vigilant, and don't let your guard down. Stay safe, stay aware, and don't let the phishers reel you in.